Hey, Steve.
Hi.
Hold on one second. Steve, Kim's saying something to me.
Oh, it's 10 up. I thought it was later.
Oh, do you have a meeting?
5 o'clock.
I didn't know that.
It's on the calendar.
I didn't look. You have 5 minutes?
Yeah.
It's easy.
Steve, you're not giving us a view today. You got to turn the camera. All I see is the wall. It's like you're in Connecticut. Oh, there's the good stuff. Wow. Yeah, it's not looking good over here, Steve. Yeah, no, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's the green in back of the house. So our
Yeah.
association is 18 buildings, 2 units each. So it's a small association. And it's
That's a lot of
surrounded.
green space for that many people.
Hmm?
That's a lot of
36.
green space for just 36 units.
And at the far end, you can't see it in that picture. We have a pool.
It's 7
Oh, all right.
It's
I
a,
like.
it's a big pool, so it's bigger than the one we had in Longboat Key. It's very rare to
Like a
find
lap
one
pool
like
or
this now. The pool's 8 feet deep at the deep end. Most of them are only 6.
right, because the water table in Florida, right, is really high.
No, it's just cheaper and they don't want people diving. But
Figured.
this was built, many years ago.
Okay. Hey, Todd.
And right there we have, behind these bushes, there's shuffleboard.
That looks great. I can't wait for summer. This is killing me. This weather.
We've had good weather this for quite a while now. Hi, Todd. I'll be right back. We'll have to change it in October or November or something. Four.
Hi, this is Barbara. Is anyone here yet?
Hey, Barbara.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Hi, everyone. So is it just Todd, Steve, and Barbara?
Yeah.
far-
Kim.
As far as I can see.
Somebody else just hopped on.
Hey, Dan, if I
What's up?
minimize this, can I pull up the agenda?
I think so.
I'll give it a
Yeah, I
try.
believe so. Yeah, if you keep that minimized, you should be able to have the agenda minimized as well.
Oh, yeah, first I have to change it to Apple compatibility. All right,
Who else just got on?
oh, calling page.
The power blinked here. The power was off for 5 or 10 minutes at Mile Creek Road, so maybe that goofed up Harold. But it's back again at my house.
Now, could you still see me when I minimized it?
Hey,
Yep.
yours, buddy?
So you never lost the picture?
I don't think
I
so.
don't believe so, no.
Okay, then I can minimize this and I can read the agenda. Well, guess what? It's 5 o'clock.
Is it on? I think so. I don't know. I'm followed by phone. Okay, stay on it.
Hey, Harold.
Okay, we'll get the fish.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hey, Harold.
How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Oh. Who else do we have?
I think we step 4 right now.
Okay.
I don't know if Rob's called in or not. We have 3 call-in users, I'm not sure. But Rob usually has his name up there if he does.
Yep. Okay, I think we're ready to go. We've got a quorum with Barbara, Stephen, Todd, and myself. Welcome to the special meeting of the Old Line Planning Commission for March 18th, 2021. On our agenda is a lot line modification, 22 Hartog Place and Brookside Avenue. The original division, Graybill Properties LLC, 1 Boston Post Road. Municipal referral, minor modification to lot line modification, D'Amato, 14-1 Sands Drive. A discussion on possible state legislative actions and reading and approval of the February 18th special meeting minutes. Do we know who's on call in? Is Matt there?
Looks like
This
3 people on
is
call.
Barbara. This
Okay,
is Barbara.
Yeah,
I'm on
Barbara, I have
calling.
you.
okay,
Yeah, I named you Barbara. It's the other 3 we don't know.
all right.
I'm not sure.
Well-
I think we have the 4 of you today, Harold.
No, that's fine. We have a quorum, so we'll get going then. The first item of business is the lot line modification for 22 Hartog Place and Brookside Avenue. So I have I'm swimming in paper at the moment. You'll have to excuse me. I think everyone has seen all the correspondence that's gone back and forth. Because we received correspondence from Attorney Casella dated back on March 9th, 2021, recommending the deeds be modified to reflect the parcel being conveyed to Deborah Figgenbaum be expressly merged into her existing parcel for both tax and zoning purposes. The commission then received a letter from attorney Brendan Sharkey dated March 11th, representing the Old Colony Beach Club Association. He indicated his clients accept the proposed language addition and will add it to the deed prior to being recorded. And then the commission received a letter from Dan Bure, land use staff, stating he had reviewed the lot line modification between 22 Hartog Place and Brookside Avenue and determined that these lots comply with the old Lyme zoning regulations. So there would, if we move to accept this, there would be no further action required. Do we have any discussion?
Do we have a picture of it?
I don't have one that shows up.
Okay, sorry. It's just the lot
Dan,
line.
do you have one?
You're muted, Dan.
You're muted, Dan.
Sorry, I don't have one digitally, but I could get one and hold it up if you want.
No, that's all right.
coming.
It's only a lot line. It's not a split.
Yeah, I
No,
think
yeah, so it's just a transfer of this strip and this strip. So they're just rejigging this. So Brookside Avenue is taking a little piece, and they're redoing the lot line over here, and the property owner's taking a little piece. It's pretty straightforward.
Good.
Stephen, I think the biggest issue with this was that the description of the property did not match the drawing. And so there was concern that those two really are supporting each other.
All right. I don't have any questions.
Todd, anything?
No questions. I'm good.
Barbara?
No question.
All right, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. We approve the lot line modification as submitted, contingent upon filing the appropriate deeds and Mylars.
All right, thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I'll second.
All right, Todd was a winner on that one. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Well, then, the motion is carried unanimously. Thank you very much. The next item on the list is the original division, Graybill Properties LLC, 1 Boston Post Road. Mr. Wren, would you like to say anything? Have any comments?
Hi, yes. Hope everyone is doing well. Hopefully we're on the good side of this pandemic, and hopefully you and your families have been well. I do have a few things. Dan, am I able to share my screen?
Yeah, you should be able to.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. Can everyone now see my screen, the map?
Yes,
Okay.
I can.
So this is a map that was just done by David Nino Land Surveyor, showing the first division of land of Graybill Properties. The site is on Route 1, right across from the Sill Lane Triangle. I know we're all familiar with that. The specific address is 1 Boston Post Road. A little more than 2 acres of land. There were historically 2 parcels here, but section I believe section 9 of the zoning regulation automatically merges those into one piece. So instead of doing a lot line modification here, we have a first division. This this map shows the proposed division line, which would be this line that my cursor is following, which would make a conforming lot where the existing house is now, and then it would create a new building lot to the rear. The dotted areas on here are the Mabel areas, and then within those areas we have the 150-foot lot square, and we also have the 125-foot Mabel square. So a lot of lines on the drawing, but all required by the regulations. It meets and exceeds the regulations. We did 5 test holes on each lot to satisfy your Mabel requirements, and we also did soil testing for the Ledgelight Health District, and we have an approval from them for this lot split as well. So it's pretty basic. It's a little more than 2 acres of land. It's RU40 zone, so we have 2 40,000 plus square foot lots. I can see on this on the table on Dave's survey map. You could see that existing there's 66,589 square feet, and the proposed parcel A is 40,115 square feet. The parcel B in the back, I could zoom in on that. So you can see parcel A here is 40,115, and then parcel B is slightly larger, 47,390 square feet. So they both exceed the 40,000 square feet required. They both have the proper dimensions, meet the Mabel soil testing, health district, and frontage. So there's really no special requirements or waivers. We also submitted a site plan showing all the soil testing data and the B100A areas, again, which were approved. And we have a letter from Ed Casella. If I could switch my screen here. Can you all now see that?
Yes.
You could see Ed's letter. Okay. So we just received this today from Ed, and it says, I reviewed the updated plans, and the applicant has demonstrated the minimum area of buildable land required under zoning. Therefore, I have no objection to the property division being granted. And that was signed by Ed Casella and dated today. And just since we have it, I can show you the site plan that we did. On here, you can see the existing house and garage. You can see a potential, possible proposed house, possible proposed driveway, possible well down here with its arc completely contained on the new lot, septic primary reserve area, and a tank. And then we have in the lower left corner, we have the full zoning data table just to demonstrate that everything is consistent with all the zoning regulations. And you could see on there the minimum dimension of Mabel Square, and we just meet everything. We're not asking for any special exceptions, waivers, or variances. So it just straight meets all the zoning regulations. So with that, Mr. Graybill's attorney, Thor, is online too. If you have any questions for either of us, feel free.
All right, thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. Stephen, any questions?
Yeah. Location, this is on the east side of Boston Post Road, opposite where Sill Lane veers off to the left.
Yes. Can you see this, Steve?
Now I can see it, okay.
Site location map. So here's that Sill Lane triangle.
That's where I thought it was, okay.
Right across the street.
Any other questions, Stephen?
No.
All right, Todd, how about you?
Thank you, I'm good.
All right, Barbara?
Nope, no questions.
All right, well, thank you. I did take a look at all the, the setbacks and the separation between the well and the septic systems and everything, and I mean, they all look good. I have no questions or comments. So, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the the split as submitted with the filing of the new deeds and Mylars.
All right, thank you very much. Do I have a second?
I'll
Your turn.
second.
Who was first on that?
Barbara got that one.
Barbara got that one. All right, thank you. Any other comments? Any other questions? All right, hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried unanimously. Thank you very much, Joseph.
Great, thank you all. Be well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Ferry Road, oh God.
Want to let you know Matt Ward is here. I apologize. I'm having some power issues at my house. There's no power on Mile Creek by my house, so I am here by
Ooh.
phone.
Oh, well, welcome, Matt.
Sorry about that.
No problem. The third item on the agenda is the municipal referral, CGS-8-24, the Ferry Road sidewalks. That is going to be tabled, and we will bring that up in the April meeting. Item number 4 is a minor modification to the lot line for the Amadio 14-1 Sands Drive. And basically what they're doing is they've modified the, at a request from Bob Doan, they've modified the, make a minor adjustment for the plan. And it would just be to get the boundaries around some plantings. And so this change will not affect the buildable area squares or any of the zoning requirements. And Bob Doan had submitted a plan showing the proposed change. Attorney Casella submitted a letter dated March 10th to the commission, stating that the modified area has no impact on the zoning regulations and therefore has no objection to this new map being submitted for the previously approved subdivision. So basically, it's just a small lot line modification without any impact to the overall scheme. Mr. Doan, do you have any comments?
Nope. If I could share a screen, I will. Okay, Dan?
He wants to share the screen.
I'm not doing it. I usually don't do anything.
Oh, okay.
I usually just share the screen.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Essentially what we're doing is that we went and staked the approved line, and it cut off some plantings that Linda D'Amato wanted on her property. And so we made an adjustment right in through here, and the solid line is the one that we'd like to go to, and this dash line right here was the one that was approved. And it's
Okay, I see what
Okay.
you're doing. Yep.
I remember that one.
and these are the this was how it was approved. This is revised, and I guess the most significant change is that lot 1 goes down by about 300 square feet. Excuse me. Yeah, down by about 300 square feet, and lot 2 gets increased by about 300 square feet. But everything complies. All of our squares still fit, our Mabel and everything. That none of that changed. And what we propose to do, if this is approved, we have where you see nail set and iron rod set, nail set, those are, we've staked where the monuments are going to go. And if this gets approved, we're going to set the monuments, mark that on the plan, and make the Mylar with the monumentation shown. And
Right.
that's about it. This is the most significant change right down on the Lieutenant River. It's about 8 feet or so. But then it's almost nothing up through here.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But that's the change.
All right. Thank you. Stephen, any questions?
No, I've managed to understand the highly complicated nature of this change.
Yes. It's, I should have shown the plants as to the reason why the change was made.
Bob's excellent narrative of it.
All right. Todd, any comments, questions?
One from me.
All right, thank you. Barbara?
Nope, no questions.
All right, thank you. Do I have a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion that we approve the lot line modification as submitted, contingent upon contingent upon setting of the monuments, filing of the Mylars, and appropriate deeds.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Todd will second it.
All right, thank you very much. Any other comments? Questions? Not hearing any. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Hearing none, it has passed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks
No
for the
problem.
special meeting. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Thanks, you too. All right. The next item that we have in the special meeting is a discussion on possible state legislative actions.
Where's that? Oh, okay, I don't have the amended agenda. Amended agenda.
Yes,
I'm looking at the old agenda.
no agenda. All right, so as most everybody knows and understands, there are a number of bills before the House and the Senate, the Connecticut House and the Senate this year. And two of them, 804 and 1024, have to do with affordable housing. Now, as a planning commission, we have been in favor of affordable housing. But this legislation, in essence, basically takes away all the town's rights and responsibilities to review any affordable housing that is coming into town. The bills will essentially eliminate local control over most, if not all, accessory dwelling units and over most multifamily housing. And so that means that the only control the town would have would be over single family housing. Now, then there's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes on. I mean, it seems a little bit unreasonable.
A little bit?
It seems to be unreasonable that, developers would come in and not have to go through any of the reviews, any of the commissions, land use commissions or anything else before they built a structure. And the town would have nothing to say about what it looked like or where it was positioned or how it was positioned. And when you're looking at affordable housing, you're looking at any development that were 10% of the units are going to be considered affordable. And so as a member of the Affordable Housing Task Force, one of the things we found out through all of this is that as a town, Old Lyme has a pretty much limited amount of land that's available, number one. And so it would be very, I guess, very challenging for somebody to come in for anybody in the town that would want to have any say as to where any affordable housing would go or how it would look. So, the
Well,
letters would- the
Harold,
letters would- yes,
I'm not sure I agree with that. I can think of numerous areas of town that could be developed if the state had control of all this. There's plenty of parcels that could be developed. I think one of the questions that needs to be asked first is what do we have for affordable housing now? And Todd brought this point up in our conversation. There are many dwellings and houses and cottages and et cetera in Old Lyme that are not classified as affordable because they don't have deed restrictions, but their price range and the residents renting or living in them, owning them, would qualify for affordable housing. So that these bills are not taking into account, because nobody's measured it, the amount of existing affordable housing that isn't defined as affordable housing. It's an incredibly blatant attempt to grab control over rural areas by people who live in urban areas and who are essentially morons to even propose this stuff. It seems to be an infection from the federal level down, that the proposal of things that are so outrageous and absurd that you scratch your head and say, well, how can they even come up with this stuff? But back to a sane conversation, we have plenty of affordable housing here that isn't identified as such, and we have plenty of vacant parcels that could be developed on 156 and on Route 1. I can think of many. Where the driving range is. Not that I want to see anything there, but where the driving range is, you could develop that. A little further down the road, opposite Shore Country, there's a chunk they've been trying to sell for years. Up on the Boston Post Road, there's all kinds of property. So, yeah, there's an opportunity to build the stuff, but it needs to be built with some local consideration and control over the aesthetics of it, and maintaining the rural nature of our town and in the areas, the historical character of our town. So that's what I had to say.
thank you. Todd? You're muted.
We go, sorry. I've got a couple things. One would be the increase in density that could possibly bypass the clean water funding, that if the places would hook into the proposed public sewers, does that mean that they could increase the density from what it is now, or if it's a couple of single houses? No. Okay, well, I'm not sure that they would jeopardize the Clean Water Act funding. It's very unfair to private landowners that if a guy wants to go and put up a Carefree shed, he's got to go see Kim and got to go see Dan and got to go to the Wetlands Commission because it might be within 200 feet of the wetlands. They wouldn't have to do any of that, and all of our wetlands protections would be bypassed. I can think of several projects that I've worked on. One was a municipal project for the school barn on 4 Mile River Road. They put in a groundwater recharge system there to collect the water off the pavement and put it back into the groundwater. And none of those were all mandated by the Wetlands Commission and other commissions in town, and they wouldn't have to do that. The amount of paved area wouldn't be taken into consideration. So it's going to really really hurt private land that have to go through or have to go through various safeguards in our governmental system, and to say that if only 10% of a development or a project is going to have affordable housing in there, or attainable building units, that means that the whole thing can buy the whole regulatory system, which I think is totally unfair and unrealistic. All of us are in favor of making for places for the working people to live and work in the town, and it's very important that those places exist. But to do it with no local control is makes a shambles of everything that we've worked so hard for with our recent plan of conservation development, our hard work on that. It's anything, which I feel very bad about. And to have us having to go to school for a 6-hour course, which is really just a mandatory brainwash, mandatory talk, I think is we're all pretty diligent. We've got trained professionals to lead us along the way, to make sure that we're not violating anybody's rules or rights or anything else. And I think I need to go to school to do that. I think that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you. Barbara, your thoughts?
I'd like to go back to the point about we don't know how much accessory housing we have. So much of it is unreported to the town that we may actually have quite a bit of affordable housing in town, to Steve's point. It's just we don't know. My concern is if you canvass the community, how many people are willing to admit that they've got a renter that maybe isn't zoned for it? I'm not quite sure. What do you think?
Yeah, that's been a question we've talked about all summer, and we've talked about it in the Affordable Housing Task Force also, because as Dan pointed out, once they identify themselves as being affordable housing, they're going to have to meet some current requirements and regulations that they may not meet. And then there's always a question about if they've been, providing this affordable housing to people and they have income that's not being addressed. That's another issue. So no one wants to hang out their shingle and say, okay, yeah, I've been doing this for a long time, and without some kind of shelter against punitive damages or something.
Well, I know people who, I'm sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say, I knew
there's
people
little
who,
buildings that are in between Cherry Stones and the old Gulf Station. Every one of them would qualify for affordable housing. But are any of them indicated to be affordable housing in the town's inventory? I doubt it.
Probably not.
The same with a lot of year-round cottages, small year-round cottages that get rented out. An awful lot of them would qualify. It's not a stigma that they're affordable. It's thresholds. It's thresholds. What the rental amounts, the amount of income of the renters or owners, because it can be owners too. And in Old Lyme, if I recall, the threshold for affordable housing is about $75,000. But it has to be above the amount where you qualify for public assistance. So it's that delta in between public assistance and approximately 75,000 that qualifies for affordable housing. And there's a lot of it, but there's no record of it.
No. Barbara, you had a follow-up comment.
basically, I was just going to say that I do know people who rent out, like they've made a little, for lack of a better term, an in-law apartment, but obviously not for their in-laws. They're renting it, but they don't want to declare that income, and they don't want the town to know that they're doing that. So I don't see, it'd be very difficult, like you said, you know, they don't want any punitive damages. And that's the biggest hurdle we have, because we probably do have, as Steve said, quite a bit of affordable housing that's already in place, but there's just no way to get that out there on the books.
Thank you. Rob, I know you've joined by phone. Do you have any comments?
I did join a little late. I apologize. I do
No
not.
problem.
I haven't really had time to look at all this. So
Okay, have you, so you haven't looked at the proposed legislation or what it means?
no.
Okay,
Although I'll go along with the fact that yeah, Hartford shouldn't be telling towns what to do. But other than that, that's my entire comment.
all right, thank you. All right, so one of the things that we were thinking about, or I was thinking about, is at the planning commission, we really need to have a position. And so do we not agree with these, or do we have some things that we're really concerned about? And it sounds like the biggest thing is the fact that loss of control. In other words, we have, you have the way these laws are written, a developer could come in and put up anything anywhere basically, and the town has no say about it. Yes, Stephen.
Strategically, I think that's definitely part of our argument. But I wouldn't want to lead with that, because it's basically saying, well, we don't want you to take control. And they're going to go, tough. I think what we should emphasize is that the amount of affordable housing that currently exists is greater than what is known. And that instead of that first, before changing who controls affordable housing approval in rural communities, it needs to be determined how much there really is. It needs to be defined. Come up with a different definition for affordable housing so that we can determine how much there is.
Well, but Stephen, that's been part of our problem all along. That we, there's no way, we talked about different things about trying to figure out who's got affordable housing or who's got accessory apartments, and it's not. And so we haven't been able to do that yet. And I apologize to Matt. I should have asked you your opinions on the other things we talked about. What's your opinion on this? Have you read any of the documents?
Yes, I have. I appreciate it. I know I'm new to the commission here, and I appreciate it. Yeah, no, it's definitely that's definitely outreaching its boundaries here. I mean, but one question I had: the two developments on one, which mostly elderly community, is that considered affordable housing, or is that just like assisted living? What is that considered?
Which one are you talking about?
There's two. I'm trying to think the names of the streets. They're off of Route 1. One's just past the
Limewood.
Yeah, Limewood.
In Ryefield Manor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ryefield Manor. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Sorry. Are they considered affordable housing or no?
Yeah, they
Yes,
are, because my mother used to live in one.
Okay.
Ryefield, yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely, as someone who at one point worked for the state, it definitely is I don't think it's not a cookie cutter for every community. And I don't agree with the bills myself. I appreciate letting me comment.
Yeah, and welcome. Sorry, I didn't.
No problem. No problem. One of these plays, I'll be able to, you can see my face at some point here and put a voice with a face, but my phone's not working and we have no internet at home right now. No power, so.
Bummer. Bummer.
Harold, I have a question.
Yes.
Would perhaps the census data for Old Lyme, does that break down income? Because you could look at the income in the census data of people that would qualify for affordable housing, and you get an idea of how many people are living in the town in affordable housing, which of course translates to approximately how much affordable housing there is.
Steve, it does break down income, but I'm not sure that you could extrapolate the broad brushstroke that the census usually works in and drill down in that manner. I'm not sure you could extrapolate income that some people make based on, how much, their housing may or may not cost.
Todd?
That's the only information that we have. I mean, we talked about this summer, sending out a questionnaire to property owners that are rented, or the properties that are rented, and find out what people are getting for rents. What we come up with really doesn't make any difference. We've really got, the problem is the state has decided that unless it's got a deed restriction, it doesn't count. So they're using, we're trying to be too practical and say that, look, we've got, I don't know, pick a number. We've got 500 houses that are under, what would the rent be? $2,500 that are under 500, under $2,500. The state doesn't care what you charge. They only care if it's got a deed restriction. So we're trying to, their definition is wrong, or is unusable or unreasonable, because it really is not related to the problem. And they're trying to force us into doing stuff that really doesn't solve the problem. They're allowing somebody that wants to build a piece of property. I'll my Hayfield the back of my, for an example. I think it's like 20 acres, give or take. If I wanted to develop that and cut it single family houses and it's all good soil, you can get a decent well, it's all gravel, but I've got lots of wetlands issues, vernal pool issues, lots of other issues that they could easily put 200 units there. So it's just the idea that they can bypass all, or they can ignore all the environmental rules that we have in place, not because we're trying to discriminate against it, it's because scientifically, most all using normal engineering sound data to come up with rules, and that they can not very difficult, and they can go to any government institution and get financing that a private developer, a private homeowner can't get. I'm sure the rates are great, bypass all the rules. I mean, the only people that are really going to be in favor of this are the people that build them. It's truly a travesty to our good planning, I think.
All right. Maybe what we should be looking at is what I've drafted. Maybe we should take a look at just rewording that a little bit, and then thinking about sending it out, because Todd touched on a second thing, which was the 6 hours of mandated training. As far as affordable housing goes, doesn't take that long to read all the documents in 830G-G, which is the affordable housing section of the statutes. And, it was like you got 20 minutes of reading that's crammed into 2 hours. That doesn't make any sense to me. But, I think that at some point we have some differing views, but we really need to kind of let our representatives know that, this is, it's one size doesn't fit all, as Todd was saying. Not to crosstalk, but I mean, it's whatever they do in Colchester or whatever they do in Cromwell, is not the same thing that's going to be available to do along the shoreline. And, you know, shoreline communities, I have a really different different population densities and so forth. And so it just, I think we should be making, you know, our feelings known.
Well, I think the letter you drafted was pretty good for the most part. I sent out a revision, not saying that's perfect either. Yeah, after our discussion, I'm wondering if maybe in the second paragraph of my revision, we ought to strengthen up the wording regarding the definition and suggest that a more realistic definition be developed before enacting legislation.
That's a good point.
I think time is of the essence to get
Yes,
this.
I do too.
So I'd like to make a motion, I think, that we take Harold's letter, Stephen's letter, our comments, have the chair and co-chair tune it up and include all the comments that were relevant, and get this letter drafted and sent with, I don't think that the whole commission needs to have another meeting to read it and vote on it. I'd like to say that you guys can draft it, finish it, and get it sent. I talked to our representative, Devin Carney, and he sent me a list of people that he thought would be the right ones to contact. So I'd like you guys to finish up, you know, get this thing going, finish it, and have Kim draft, you know, send it. I also would recommend that we do a quick letter to the editor, and like whether it's the New London Day or the CT Examiner, to let the people in town know what's going on, so that maybe they could also contact their legislators, because people aren't going to know that this law is proposed. We pay attention, and people pay attention for us. So I'd like to general community know what's happening and what our concerns are, and get the letter out the door.
I'd also like to let everybody know that I have contacted the chairman of zoning, and I asked him if he would be interested in seeing what we come up with, and he said he'd be very interested. So, you know, I think he has some of the same feelings in terms of there was people coming in and not having to get any kind of approval from any of the land use commissions or anybody else. So
Would recommend, though, that we don't wait for them if they would like to do a like letter. I think 2 letters is better than 1. So if we wrote one and they wrote one, I don't think that that's bad. So I think that we ought to get ours in the works sooner rather than later, to wait for agreement for everybody, because that, we all know that we work pretty slow sometimes, and I don't think we have that luxury.
no.
I agree with Todd that zoning should write a letter.
Oh, I agree 100%.
I think, you know, we send him a copy of ours, they'll give him something to work with if he wants.
That's what I was intending to do. Yeah.
Be a letter from zoning. They're the most affected. They're more affected than we are. Well, not more affected, but they're equally affected.
All right. Well, that being said, I'm going to take the lead then on trying to revise this letter, and I'm wondering, Steve, you'd be willing to help?
Why don't we do a telephone meeting, the 2 of us, and go over what we have drafted already and see how we want to modify that.
Yep. We could send it out for review or for comments. We'll do that.
And that work here, I just, I don't know if there was something in the Connecticut Examiner today, I read it, and there were several people from this community that commented on it. So I don't know if anybody's seen it, but there is an article in the Connecticut Examiner about this. So these two bills.
Yeah, it was in last Sunday.
Yeah, because I had talked to Kathy Hewitt at the Examiner, and then I sent her some additional information. She talked about Bill 1024, and I sent her some information on 804, and she said they were basically the same, so she wasn't going to change what she was saying. But I think I think it's appropriate that as a commission that we maybe send the Examiner our position on this,
Well,
just so that this is very clear. What's that, Stephen?
just send them a copy of our letter
Yeah. All right, that'll work.
when it's finalized, yeah.
All right.
By the way, I don't know if anybody noticed, but in with the rest of that crappy legislation they're considering is a 1 mil tax on your property to be paid to the state of Connecticut, in addition to your property tax paid to the town of Old And the money won't come back to the community.
So are we number one in expense? God.
Can't make this stuff up.
All right. Well, all right, Stephen, why don't I give you a call tomorrow and we can start looking over this?
Can you do it Saturday?
What's that?
Can we do it Saturday?
Yeah, we could do it Saturday.
I think tomorrow's Friday, right?
Yep.
Okay, no, tomorrow I'm pretty, believe it or not, actually busy.
All right. But we'll have to, we'll work on it Saturday and we'll just get something out as soon as we can.
Okay.
Harold, Todd had a motion on the table.
All right. Say, Todd, what was the motion? You're muted.
The motion was that to authorize the chair and the co-chair to complete the drafting of this letter, and you have the commission's permission to send it for the planning commission, so we don't have to have another official meeting before you get it in the mail. So that was it.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Thank you, Barbara. Any further discussion? Rob, Matt?
No, I'm all set.
I'm in agreement.
All right. Thank you very much. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, it's unanimous. All right. The next is my favorite item. It's the reading and approval of the February 18th special meeting minutes. Mr. Ross.
I will make a motion to waive the reading and approve the special meeting of February 18th minutes as submitted.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Todd, second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, hearing none. Thank you very much for everyone for being available. And at this point, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Motion is carried, and so the meeting is over. Again, thanks a lot. Great discussion. Appreciate it. We'll move forward.
Harold, did I send you the contact information, or did I send it to Kim? Somebody's got it? Okay, as long as I sent it out. We're good.
I
Thank
have
you.
it, Todd.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good
Bye.
night.